Wait, what is the title of this video? Leaks show major progress in Star Citizen? You mean somebody's talking about progress? You mean, wow, there's somebody talking about progress. Let's see. It looks like another level cap here.
Leaks suggest that Star Citizen testers have completed a successful first run of the new server replication layer technology at scale. Hold
on 1 second, though. Seamus is bringing up something very important right now that we do need to reiterate. We might not be correct on this. I'm not sure if Seamus is, but we might need some fact check on this. But I think there was a video by LevelCap that said there was no progress happening. We could be wrong on that one. We could be wrong. If somebody could just please fact check that.
Represents an extremely important step for one of the bigger tech leaps that this game has ever seen. Once the replication layer is properly separated from the server, players should expect to see improved server performance, server crash recovery, and many more features as it opens the gates to true server meshing, which, according to leaks, may be in testing before the end of the year. This is huge for Star Citizen. Now, these replication layer tests were conducted via the Evocati test branch, which is essentially an NDA'd group of testers. But generally speaking, the results of these tests end up posted on Reddit or Pipeline right away, so while the general public might not be able to watch the tests, we usually know exactly what's going on. And this test seems to have focused specifically on server crash recovery. Basically, players loaded into a server, that server was then intentionally shut down, causing the game to essentially pause, while the new server booted up and took over the play session and unpaused the game. And from the report, it did work. Although the server boot up times were a bit slow, as was warned by the devs, and there were some bugs as expected. But generally speaking, it seems like large servers from people connected around the world were able to crash and then recover the play sessions. This on its own is obviously huge. Anyone who's been playing Star Citizen for a while knows the dreaded 30k crash, which means the server's about to go down and you're probably going to lose a lot of progress on whatever you're working toward.
By the way, that is big news. You know, that's actually quite big news.
It's also a huge step towards server meshing, and it's very encouraging to see the first test actually work at scale. And again, it technically worked, and there was quite a few bugs from what I hear, with not all the features recovering properly, but again, I think the focus of this test was more on just the base functionality versus the polish of the overall build. Now, following this successful test, more information was leaked about CIG's plans for the near future, and it looks quite encouraging. And before I get into those juicy details, first I've got a quick word from today's sponsor. Knock One is a third-person...
No. Fast forward the show. I cannot stand it. Stop doing this to me and go.
All right, back to those juicy Star Citizen leaks. Before the end of the year, they want to test the Stanton to Pyro jump gate in a tech preview channel. It's unclear if this test is going to be reliant on actual server meshing or not, but one would assume that this is probably the first trial of server meshing. As for the live server environment, the upcoming 3.22 patch is intended as a...
By the way, Mad Style just reminded me of what happened today. If you're watching this, this was the day that Elon told advertisers to go fuck themselves, which, you know what? That is what we call integrity, man. And when I saw that, I said, yeah. And you know what the cool thing is? Elon would have said the same shit if he had no money. That's why I appreciate him. And, you know, Elon gets a lot of heat, but frankly, dude, that's got some balls behind it. He told Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, to go fuck himself, that he didn't need advertisers. And if he wanted to start himself a little war and then not and pool all the funding, the reason why X wouldn't be a company anymore is because of people like Bob Iger and Disney. Now, he's really good. If you missed that, please watch that on YouTube. It is a definite must watch. I watched the entire hour and 20 minutes where he also called out OpenAI. And who's the dude? Sam, I can't remember the dude's name, who he co-founded OpenAI with. And Altman. Thank you. Sam Altman. And he said that they shouldn't call it open AI anymore. They should call it very closed. What was the quote? I can't remember. Very closed source AI for maximum profit or something like that. I thought that was a wonderful interview. You guys got to check that out.
A major quality of life improvement for the game and to be released by the end of the year. It's coming with a bunch of locations and features and probably new ships, but it also sounds like perhaps polish and refinement might be a major component of this one, which is certainly welcome to, again, any fan of Star Citizen. Now, beyond that, and again, according to internal leaks, there's a huge focus being put on bringing completed Squadron 42 features into the persistent universe, and they've already made tremendous progress in this regard. Basically, all the cool tech shown at CitizenCon, where Chris was like, we want to get all of this into your hands over the next 12 months, has a huge focus on it right now. And they currently have a goal of getting as much of that as possible into players' hands for the Q1 2024 patch. Obviously, this is super exciting because if there's one thing that this game needs above anything else, it's quality of life features and improvements. Old legacy systems have stuck around in the online universe for so long because they've been working on them in Squadron 42. So to finally get these improvements to ancient, out-of-date, non-functional systems is going to be huge for anyone who wants to play the game. Now, CIG also released their new Star Engine trailer in its 4K glory on YouTube, and it has been slightly updated from the one shown at CitizenCon with some of the better water physics that we actually saw during the CitizenCon demonstration.
Like over a
and
million?
They also updated it with the cloth physics at the end and a few other details here and there. Certainly worth.
Don't forget star hair. Don't you dare forget star hair.
To watch if you didn't see the CitizenCon version. Now, during all of this, the Free Fly event in the International Aerospace Expo has been going on with a new concept ship for RSI, the Arastra. It's a large mining vessel that seems to be geared toward a large variety of mining gameplay. The ship itself is quite large and it does look cool and seems to be embodying all of the lessons that the shipbuilders have learned over the years. The mining turrets move on tracks and can see all the angles of the ship, meaning pilots won't have to constantly adjust the ship to allow the turrets to mine their targets. Now, quite interestingly, YogiClat, one of CIG's top devs when it comes to all things ship combat, answered a lengthy Q&A about ship combat on the Star Citizen Leaks Discord known as Pipeline. And he revealed that somewhat ironically, many CIG devs use this Discord to stay up to date on other parts of development, which kind of makes sense since the Pipeline Discord consolidates not just leaks, but patch information as well, and just kind of all the information coming out of CIG. So if you wanted just one place that covered every little bit of news and info coming directly from the company, this is where to get it. And it's funny that devs themselves are actually using this player-run Discord. Now, some of the bits from Yogi's Q&A that I found particularly interesting were that they plan to release master modes to all ships at the same time, and that they acknowledge that the player base will be a huge part of the testing and refining of master modes experience. If you don't know what master modes is, it's basically a complete rebalance of all of the ship velocity, turning, weapon, targeting. It's like a complete combat and speed rebalance across the board for every single ship. It is a huge undertaking, probably much bigger than most people think, and it's good to hear them acknowledge that the first pass of this is probably going to require a lot of refinement.
Absolutely means a huge wine fest incoming, yeah, and it's going to have to be like, it's going to have to tweak 6 ways from Sunday, you know, Mad Style. I completely agree with you on that.
And balance based on community feedback. Now, beyond that, most of what he answered were clarification questions about how master mode and other combat features would work, like that turret functions will get some of the cool zoom in mechanics that were shown off at CitizenCon, and that spaceships without aerodynamic looking shapes will still be able to fly in atmosphere without too much trouble. There wasn't anything too surprising there, but he does seem like a truly passionate dev and fully invested in the vision of the game. There was also an hour-long Star Citizen Live where they talked a lot about engineering gameplay and answers.
We watched that one, I believe. We've got one on the channel where we were looking at the lead of the flight that was a very important one for me to sit down and watch with you guys. It doesn't have a lot of views, but we talked about the flight experience and what they're doing and what they're planning and where they're at and where they're going to be. And they're very overwhelmed. The flight experience team is way overwhelmed, way undermanned, needs more resources. We talked about this on that particular time where we sat down and we watched an hour of Star Citizen Live. That was a really fun time. I had a really good time with that.
Answered some questions on that. The most interesting thing that came out of that for me was the knowledge that large ships will be soloable if they're new or in good condition, but as they get older or damaged, maintaining them or keeping them in a flying status may be too difficult for a solo player. And obviously you won't be able to man all the systems to their full extent, so if it's a combat ship, you probably won't be doing as well. Beyond that, they also acknowledged that they don't want repairing to become a full-time job or an annoying task that everyone has to do all the time, so they're looking to make sure it's balanced and a fun mechanic that doesn't get in the way of good gameplay. Now, for me, everything happening right now is extremely exciting, and it's hard to pick favorites with all of the upcoming features for Star Citizen. Obviously, the foundational tech is some of the most important because it leads to better performance, better stability, and a bigger universe. But the quality of life features like an updated star map, improved inventory, and new quantum travel system mean just as much to me when it comes to the actual gameplay and enjoyability. Everything seems to be moving uncharacteristically fast right now. I'm trying not to get my hopes up since this project is...
No, it will. Get your hopes up. No, things will start to move a bit faster now with what we saw from CitizenCon. It absolutely will. People are not going to be accustomed to this level of speed. It's not going to be great. It's not, I'm not talking Roadrunner here, but it's going to be faster than the sluggish quagmire that we are in where we lost Artex. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to lose Artex. God damn it, Artex. Why do I do that to myself?
Always shooting way past its projected timelines, but it's hard not to get a bit excited, especially if you've been playing the game for a while with the same old janky UI and travel systems. These upcoming changes could be huge. What do you guys think? Are we going to get some really exciting tech before the end of the year, or is it mostly going to be in Q1, or do you think they're going to just blow way past those projected timelines? Let me know in the comments. And next up, check out this video.
Thank you, Half Sack. I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate that. Now, I wanted to go to this at the very end because I watched a lot of this. And you got to be super geeky like myself and be into technicals. But this guy seems like he knows what he's talking about. Well, he's a software engineer, and he's reacting to what we watched at CitizenCon. And I wanted to get to this part. I want you to see, if you really want to, I'll put the link in the YouTube description. I'll post the link here live. You guys can watch this if you're really into what server meshing's up to and what you want, like an opinion from a dude who seems like a legit software engineer who knows what he's talking about. At least I got that vibe from this dude when I watched this. The algorithms found this, and I couldn't help but watch it. I had to watch it. And I apologize. I should have watched it with you guys, but like it's definitely for a smaller percentage of people that can handle the technicals. Okay. Check that link out, save it, bookmark it, watch it if you're into that, like myself. But I want to show you the end reaction so that you guys understand where we're at with server meshing. Okay. And what we saw, because there's a lot of misinformation out there about, oh, this shit's fake and it's not a big deal. And no, this is absolutely a big deal, by the way. Here we go. Here's the overall reaction. We'll play about a minute or two of this. I want you guys to see this dude in the top right, software engineer reacting, okay, to server meshing and the replication layers.
It has been a long time to come to this point, and I just can't put in words how much tech and work we had to put into this. Big shout outs to the network team, big shout outs to the online services team.
Okay, you see the dude up in the top right's a software engineer who's reacting to this particular panel at CitizenCon, which we sat through. We had a wonderful day with everybody. It was an awesome weekend that I'm still making up for with my girlfriend, Christy, and the mustache combo, the CitizenCon mustache combo. Woo, man. Woo, I'm still working that one off. But I got to spend 2 days. I got to spend the weekend with all of you that joined me at CitizenCon. Thank you very much. I had a blast those 2 days. This is the panel here. The engineer on this team talking about what he's doing with server meshing. We're talking about the replication layers, giving a conference. Realize that this video is an hour. We're an hour into this video. So this software engineer has been commenting the entire time for an hour. Seems legit to me. Talked to a few game developers in my life, a lot. And I've talked to a lot of different types of software engineers. When I watched this, I got the vibe that he was experienced or he knew what he was talking about. Let's look at this guy's reaction up in the top right now. Everybody look at this dude with the eyebrows raised, okay? You know, you see that? That's a software engineer. Impressing a software engineer, by the way, is not an easy thing to do. It's jokes. It's true, though.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Big shout out to Chris to let us doing this.
For making you do this, but he's at least also paying you, I hope. Well, so, you know.
It's been a really long journey to get to this point, and I've got to say the team has done an amazing job. They've been working diligently for the last 4 or 5 years. We've had a couple of false starts.
Also, like Aether said, I'm going to read what Aether wrote. He says, remember being told right here on this stream by others that were watching with us that there was no new computer science or engineering in server meshing. And he says, well, I guess that was a load of rubbish, huh? Yes, Aether, it was. You know, at the time, to be fair, the people that were watching, you know, a lot of them don't have the knowledge. And so they're kind of in the dark and they're just going to go with like the easy kind of answer, you know. To watch this engineer go through this entire thing, and I watched nearly all of this. This guy seems legit, knows what he's talking about, is impressed. And to even think for a moment that Chris's dude that he's hired to do this work, and Chris would stand up here and would play some type of charade, like some game like they didn't do something, would be on an epic level of fail that you couldn't even realize that nobody would ever do to themselves. Professionally would be death. There is no reason to think this was a lie at all. Like that would be suicide. Like the amount of money that's involved here, people don't get this, but the amount of money that's involved here, it would crush them. They wouldn't have the balls or the stupidity to go out there and fake it all. Like, there would be no way. They had this planned months prior to CitizenCon. They kept it tight to the vest. God bless them for doing it, because everybody's bitching about how they want them to be so transparent on every single thing. That's not how it works, everybody. They're not going to be transparent on everything. They're going to keep some secrets close, and then they'll let them out. And God bless them for doing that, because CitizenCon was the best CitizenCon ever. And it was the best CitizenCon because they kept some things close to the vest. They don't have to divulge everything. I wouldn't want them to divulge everything. You know, that's like spoiling Christmas. That's like, there's a couple people out there. My wife, God bless her soul, passed away long, long ago. Amy would love to sneak down, and she would love to kind of like peruse the presents and ruin the surprise. I said, Amy, it's Christmas. You understand? It's Christmas. Now you get away from those presents. You get. But just keep watching this dude in the top right corner.
We finally have an incredible, I mean, the way the replication layer works and how we can spin up servers and down and keep the state constant, even if a server goes down, is, I think, a genius design. And the first time I saw this, about 3 weeks ago, working fully, I cried.
Deal. It's a big deal.
It's like giving birth. We did.
Okay, by the way, he is not that good of an actor. He's legit crying over this. Okay. So like, again, you can see it in the demeanor. You can see it in the facial features, the way that they're acting. You can see the truth behind it. Like there's like, he's crying, for God's sake.
You don't have all the pain. I'm sorry, guy. But yeah, no, seriously. It's a big deal.
What was that? Let's rewind again. What was that?
But yeah, no, seriously. It's a big deal.
And there you go. I think that's a good ending for that, so that everybody's on the same page. Okay. So if you're seeing the clickety clack and you're seeing the voices out there telling you it's fake and it doesn't matter, then you make sure to tell them the truth and quit clickety clacking and making the salt miners money. Just it's enough already. Enough, man. It's like ridiculous to me, man. It's ridiculous. I hope you guys understand. Like, I've been following this 10 plus years. There's a lot of people out there under this conception, like, I don't know what I'm talking about. like all I ever do is react, right? Like I never had a period of time, let's say 4, 5, 6 years of content creation, 4, 5, 6 years of solid, like, research, right out the gate. When I started this, people are going to tell you, oh, he's a big dumb lug. Doesn't know what he's talking about. Big bold guy doesn't know the games. They're going to tell you I'm clueless. They're going to tell you that because they want you to watch them. They're going to tell you that because they want you to watch them. And people are falling for that hook, line, and sinker. And then what happens is they start to get sold on the salty narratives. They start to get sold on the clickety clack, and they become part of the monetization machine. They're not just being sat down and told the truth. They're being wrapped in a whole bunch of drama. It's unnecessary, and it's sad because it then creates this voice out there that's filled with hate. I don't know about you, but like, I am a fan of this project and will always be a fan of this project. I love what they're trying to do. They've come a long way. I've seen the progress from the very start, albeit somewhat slow at times, right? But it's there. And if you're a fan of this, and if you're a content creator of this, I would just say, like, take the time out to realize that come from it from a point of wanting to see it happen. It's easy to be the cynic. It's easy to poop on things. It's not easy to create. It's easy to destroy. It is not easy to create. That's why I dig people like Elon Musk and others. And you might not like his personality. You might think he's smug, but this guy gets things done because he doesn't take no as an answer. And this was a big event. This was somebody, Chris, exclusively, along with the people that obviously, were involved here. This is an example of a man who will not accept no for the answer, who's going to continually work on it to death until it's solved. These people need to be supported. These types of people in the world need to be supported. It is good to be a dreamer. It is good to be a leader. It is good to want to create. I feel like a lot of Star Citizen content creators, they don't understand the scope. I said that earlier tonight when I started this. I don't think many of them understand the scope of what this is. Even you think that they would. You think that they would after all this time. Newer content creators that come to Star Citizen, I can understand that. You get that whole new car smell. You're loving it, and then you get some of the bugs, and you get upset. And you see that cycle of the new Star Citizen content creators. They get upset, and then some of them, not all of them. And you've seen that cycle, like the veterans and Star Citizen. We've seen that cycle with new Star Citizen content creators. They get in, they're like, woo, wow, and then they experience some of the bugs, and they get upset, and it's glitchy, and then 30Ks, and blah blah blah. And then after a while, they go into that, right? Some stay in that. Some come out. But I think at the end of the day is if you are truly a fan, whether you're a gamer or whether you're a content creator, you got to come this from an angle of supporting what it is that you are a fan of. It's easy to shit on something. It is easy to continually and I think a lot of people get into this because they make money from it. They get monetized from it. So they get in this repetitious pattern where, no matter what they do, what they experience, they're always going to talk shit about it. And that's how they make their money off of you. It's kind of weird to me. Doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? It does not feel good. Anyway, I think it's time here we end our party with this. And when we come back, we are going to spin to see who is going to win our Vanguard Warden.